Paragliding, it's kind of fulfilling in a lot of ways, right? Like there's a presentness that comes from paragliding. Get in the zone, everything else kind of disappears. You don't have to really think about work. You can't really think about anything else because what you're doing is pretty important and pretty consuming. There's a community that surrounds it. It's fantastic. Really giving, really loving, really caring about making sure everybody's safe. There's a travel aspect of it that brings you to really beautiful places like where we are in Colombia. I mean, it's just a lot. But I think at the end of it, when you bring it all together, for me, it's an amazing way to kind of hit the reset button to get back to everyday life and focus on work and focus on the other parts of life that you have to tackle.
My first rodeo.
Okay.
Ready?
Excellent wind, whenever you want, we can go.
You say?
3, 2, 1.
Launching.
We're good. Yeah, nice, Christo.
Later, bud.
Thanks, buddy.
Go very, very well. Lisa, Joyce in the air with the gin.
Okay, thank you.
Joe, amazing control. Amazing, very good.
Yeah, I found it pretty interesting when I got into it after my accident to re-enter the sport, because I was, for a while, like I noticed online that there was a couple of people that I found videos on that were paragliding from a wheelchair. So I was like, okay, it's possible. But I guess the negative side of it, or what I thought was going to be negative, was it was going to be logistically kind of a nightmare to help me go flying. I would need a lot of help from a lot of other people, so I'd lose some independence in the way that it was from before. I mean, the big story is I was comparing it too much to what it was like before I started using a wheelchair. When I got back into it, it was shocking because getting back into the air was simple. Yes, I need some help. I need some people to push me off the mountain and help me hook in my wing and just help out with the process. But that part of it's actually kind of fun. There's like a little team aspect of it. And then once I'm in the air, like the first flight I did solo, I got in the air and I looked around and I was like, everybody's doing this. Like there's not much happening with these. I'm like, we're all playing the same game. And I was like, this is the most inclusive activity I could have found. Like we are literally all flying together. And then fast forward 10 years and, you know, the bulk of my flying has not been with other people with disabilities. It's been pretty much with other people without disabilities. And we're all just flying together, having a great time. It's really hard to find an activity like that that brings that level of inclusivity in the disability world. Like it's challenging to find that. So it's special in that way for sure.
Oh yeah, buddy. We got birds, we got paragliders.
Yeah, I mean, the weather side of it's all the same as anybody else. So we want good wind, we want the wind coming straight into us, straight up the hill. Those elements, we gotta look at the weather in all the same ways. So none of that changes. So the language we speak on top of launch before we fly is the same between everybody, which is nice. We might be a little slightly more picky to make it a little extra perfect, just because there's not quite as much room for error. But at the same time, I've done some weird launches with crosswind and stuff like that too. Not that that was smart, but I did it and it worked. In terms of the terrain to launch off of, it's, again, there's no way I can set a limitation on it, right? So like here's perfect. We set up on a flat area and you get moving, the wind comes up over your head and you're able to check it and make sure everything's good and you have time. And then if all's good, you keep running and getting pushed and you go off, kind of drop off really quickly to where you're in the air very fast. Kind of the perfect setup. But I've been on the sides of mountains where it's really steep and it takes a couple of people to hold on to the wheelchair so I don't roll down while we're setting up. And that's a moment of when we start moving, there's no stopping, this has to work. And so it boils down to your risk management.
Nice launch.
And how far you want to push that.
Woo.
And so I'm not as gung-ho like I was back then, but I've got some stories and they were great.
Ready?
Yeah. You know, my speed flying accident happened, it was 100% my fault for a lot of different reasons. And so
yeah, buddy,
my initial
guys.
goals was become a good pilot by learning slow, learning from mentors, and doing it the right way, having patience, enjoying the process. Then once I kind of got some skills under my belt, then it kind of turned into, let's try to fly far. Let's see what cross country is all about. What can I do through that whole thing. Now, honestly, like, a lot of that's gone, and not in a bad way. I'm like, I just want an adventure. I want to smile. I want to take off. I want to land safe. I want to have fun with my friends. I want to be around the community. And if we go out and we have a good time and everybody's safe, I'm stoked. I mean, I'll set goals for what we want to do in the day, but I'm not like chasing it like I used to. Like, it's a totally different game now. Wheels for Flying, man, they stepped in with a great idea. And Lucho and his team said, there's a lot of really good wheelchair pilots out there, people that use wheelchairs that are paragliders, but they're not talking and they're not together, and there's no competition, there's no community really around it. And so they stepped in and said, why don't we create one? Let's do it in Colombia. It's a magical place to fly. And let's see how many people we can get here to Colombia that all have disabilities and get them flying together. Let's have a competition. Let's have a month of flying. There's a lot of logistics that go into that. And so, and I've personally got a little bit of background in like organizing events and stuff, so I see it. And I'm so grateful to be on the other side to just receive it, because it's what they do to make all of this possible for us is amazing. From the transportation to the getting us all up to launch, to having volunteers to help us with launching and landing. If we land out somewhere not the main landing zone, you know, who's going to get us? How are we going to get out of the fields? That's all, for the most part, all that's dialed. So yeah, these guys are working really hard. And then Project Airtime stepped in to help out a little bit. They're a United States nonprofit supporting people with disabilities go paragliding with tandems and learning how to fly solo and that sort of thing. So they're very much involved, trying to help grease the wheels to make this whole event happen. And then what's cool, last year was the first one, this year's the second. Now that we all kind of know the lay of the land, like some of us pilots kind of stepped in to help organize a little bit. So that's that community aspect that I love so much, is like, once you kind of see what the needs are and where you can help, like people just start stepping in. And you see randoms that are here that like see what's going on and they're like, I kind of want to get involved. Yeah, and they jump in and they help load chairs up into the trucks and help people transfer in and out of them. There's a lot that goes on, and yeah, my hat goes off to Lucho and his team for even having the mindset to see that there was a way to break down some more barriers to help further this sport. And that's a big task to take on. It's awesome. Putting on an event like this and taking on the risk, and I don't necessarily mean just the risk of the sport of paragliding, but what society might say, right? Like to challenge the stigma against disability. Like that's what like Project Airtime does, and that's what Wheels for Flying does. And Wheels for Flying has really stepped up here in Colombia and in Austria to challenge that stigma and show that people with disabilities are really capable and they can be really good pilots. And we just need to create an opportunity. You know, we need to create more opportunities. We need to create competitions and all that. That's pretty high level thinking, and it's pretty amazing that there's a group of people that are willing to step into that and challenge it, because not everybody's willing to do that. And I think that's what's really magical when you sum up everything that's going on here, and then you look to Lucho, for example, who's taking on most of the weight. This has to happen smoothly. We can't have accidents. We can't have anything negative. We don't need these negative stories. Like, all that's going to paint, no matter how much we like or dislike it, there's a spotlight on people with disabilities. So if somebody else crashes without a disability, it's another crash. If we crash, it could easily be turned in the direction of, well, it's because they're using a wheelchair. Maybe they shouldn't be up there. Maybe they don't belong. And over the years, we've done a really good job of keeping that at bay. And I think we've proven it at this point. But to take the next level and challenge more barriers, that's what Lucho's doing with Wheels for Flying. I mean, it takes some guts to step out of the comfort zone of yourself and what society's used to. So that's what I think is really special about what's going on here.